What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have Zoe on the pod.
Hey, I'm Zoe. I've been told I have a face for radio and a voice for newspaper.
And here we are, YouTube.
Face and voice being revealed. Face reveal.
Face reveal. Honestly, that's actually hilarious. Well, Zoe has a background in some podcasting.
Yes,
so
it's
I'm
true.
happy to have you on.
Thank you. Happy to be
Very
here looking like a
excited.
scrub, as I just said.
Kind of same. I actually looked way crazier today, but I did my laundry, so I was like, I might as well at least get a little bit dressed.
Yes. And for those of you who are not watching on YouTube, Sam does have a little pocket on her shirt, which was previously revealed to me is for the purpose of hiding her teeth in.
No, literally. It was actually kind of a crazy thing. I exclusively wore pocketed shirts with a breast pocket when I had a flipper, which to the folks at home, that is essentially a tooth that you can take in and out of your mouth at any time. I think you are technically supposed to take it out when you eat. For me, it depended on like who I was around and if it was a safe space.
Would you ever try to eat with it in?
For sure.
Did it work?
Not very well, but I could make it
No.
happen. Well, in the time that I broke it on spring break, I actually stepped on my tooth on spring break. I was in Arizona. It was mortifying because there's not a lot you can do. I held it together that entire rest of that week with a piece of gum.
The tooth?
Yeah.
What? Did it look weird?
No, it wasn't really the tooth part. It was kind of like the upper retainer piece.
Oh, I see.
So it was a little bit easier to hide. It definitely was not like a foolproof solution. I tried to super glue it, which I also think is probably like you shouldn't actually ingest.
Yeah, not
that.
mouth friendly.
But that wasn't even holding. It was horrible.
So sad.
And then I got home and I had to go immediately to my prosthodontist and be like, help.
Prosthetic dentist.
Yeah.
When I was a child, my grandma had removable dentures.
Totally.
And she would
We're
like
one and the same.
I know, you and my grandma. She would like, when I wasn't looking, pop them out and then run up to me and like scream with her mouth open
my
and
God,
scare me with her
scary.
gummy face. Yeah. And I would
That's
scream.
really scary.
She loved doing it. And then she finally got permanent teeth.
Okay.
She couldn't do it anymore.
Did she have like a full set?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So when she took them out, it was just gums.
That's actually fucking terrifying.
It was really scary.
That is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like really bad luck with my teeth. I don't know why. Literally all I had growing up was like a gap and a crossbite. So part of it I had an overbite, part I had under. Seemed something that was easy to fix, but then we found out I didn't have adult eye teeth and it was really downhill from there.
That's so rough. Are you a cavity girl?
So, okay. I very proudly had no cavities my whole life. And then when I moved here, I went to a new dentist. And the first time that I went, she was like, you have cavities.
What?
I had 2. She was like, I'm going to fill them.
Okay.
And now my friend who just became a dentist was like, you should have probably gotten a second opinion. I have a feeling that they were just fucking with you to get money.
Dentists
out of you.
can scam you
Yes.
into getting your teeth drilled for no reason.
Yeah. Because it wasn't hurting. Nothing bad was happening to me. Somebody on my YouTube, actually, when I was recently talking about that experience, also was like, that was probably fake. So now I have this like phobia of my dentist is literally lying to my face. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure I have a cavity right now because I'm having some pain. So if they tell me that it's there, I'll believe them.
Sure.
But I've had a lot of cavities.
Have
over the course of my
you?
life, which sucks because I take such good care of my teeth. I try so hard.
I know.
They say it's genetic. I'd like to believe it.
I will say I don't think I try that hard. I take good care of my teeth now that I've had so many fucking issues. I have 4 fake teeth now.
Really?
Yeah.
These? The eye teeth?
It's the eye teeth and then the 2 teeth next to it.
Whoa.
Because originally, once we kind of went through all the braces and then I had, I was supposed to get implants because that's a much more permanent solution. Those are for life. But my oral surgeon was like, even if I gave you our smallest implant, there's a good chance I would paralyze your face.
What?
Yeah. Which I was like, okay, not worth the risk.
Damn. No, not worth the risk.
However, would love some teeth.
But it'd be kind of like free Botox.
Yeah, so true. Should just hold still.
Yeah.
And so then I had to switch to like bridges, which are definitely not a permanent solution.
Which are the things connected by a wire?
So normally there are a couple different ways you can make a bridge. Like all veneers are like a bridge, which is like caps on teeth.
Oh, yeah.
But you can also do like a Maryland bridge, which is essentially a tooth with like little wings.
Okay.
And that's what we tried at first. But you bite into everything pretty much using your incisors. Like that's the teeth.
Yeah.
That's just like it's at the corner of your mouth. That's why they're so pointy.
Uh-huh.
And so those were falling out like every other week.
That sucks.
So then they had to shave down some healthy teeth and actually give it something to grip onto.
Whoa. Have you seen what people with veneers look like without the veneers on?
I've seen my own.
Because they had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
My veneer, my bridge popped out. I was actually biting into my favorite Gotham Bagels sandwich.
That's so sad.
The pastrami, egg, and Swiss on a super egg everything bagel.
Write it down, folks. Write it down, fans. Get it go puffed here.
Literally. If you're in the Chicago or Madison area, you can order that sandwich too. Your teeth might fall out.
Yeah, disclaimer.
And I was biting into that sandwich and my whole veneer popped off.
Wow.
And then I saw my little nub. I was shaken to my core.
That's so
It also
scary.
hurt so fucking bad.
I'm
because,
sure.
Like, especially at our age, if that happens to you, which is in my opinion why no one should get veneers. Obviously, if you want to do it, but in my opinion, it's not worth it. Because they're very not a permanent solution. They can fall out pretty easily.
Damn.
And if you shave down healthy teeth when you're really young, like your nerves are so big still that.
So the sensitive part of your tooth is just exposed.
Yes.
Oof.
It was really horrible. I could barely take a
Wow.
breath in.
That's so scary to me.
It was during the pandemic too, so I couldn't bring my mom to my appointment, which was devastating.
Does your mom book your appointments?
She wasn't booking them, but she definitely was coming for moral support. Okay. I was a 23-year-old adult woman at the time. But yeah, so sad. But
That's
ever
okay.
since then, they've, stayed put.
So it's the same thing now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good
luck.
And then I have it on either side. Thank you.
As a child, I had silver teeth in the back.
Really?
Because
I didn't know they
honestly,
did
I
that
couldn't
anymore.
tell you why. I don't know why they did the silver thing, but they something was wrong with the baby teeth. Adult ones weren't in yet. They popped silver teeth on one day at youth group, Wednesday night youth group, church.
Classic.
We have church in common.
We do have church in common.
The silver tooth popped out while I was chewing a chicken nugget.
Oh, okay. See,
Yeah.
there's always something. And then that food always sticks with you. Do
I know.
you eat chicken nuggets?
I don't eat chicken nuggets.
I do still eat my favorite sandwich, but
It's more alluring than a chicken nugget, though.
so true.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. I feel like
Yeah, so lots of tooth talk right at the top.
I feel like silver was a thing in the back because it's not as visible.
It's not as visible. And the silver fillings were a thing until they came up with the white stuff.
Yeah. How many cavities do you have?
A lot. I have a lot of fillings, and I'm embarrassed about it.
Don't be. It's a safe space.
But I don't know what your listeners think about cavities.
Yeah,
I don't
some
want
of
them to think I'm
judgmental.
dirty. I brush 4 times a day.
Same.
Yeah.
I do think too, you can brush too hard.
And that's true. And wow, I'm realizing I have such a bad mom. I've had surgery too.
Have
Because I brushed
you?
away my gums, girl.
Yeah.
Brush those things right off.
I know.
They replaced the gum.
Oh my God.
Yeah, with cadaver gum.
Whoa.
So
As in
I'm not like other girls.
Dead person gum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So if you donate your body to science, that could be
totally a
somebody's
part of your brave contribution to society.
Oh.
Yeah.
That felt like maybe a piece of the body that would usually go to waste, but that's cool to know.
No, they are putting the cadavers to use.
And I think that is best practice.
Speaking of cadavers, have you seen Poor Things?
No.
Oh, okay. I won't spoil it for you.
I need to see it.
Yeah.
There are so many movies to see right now.
So many.
I'm
It always happens in winter.
Yeah, so true. It's award season. Plus nobody has anything better to do. I certainly
That's true.
do.
Do you watch the award shows?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I've watched them via social media, so I consume the memes, and some of the recap content, but I don't actually sit down for the shows. How
The
about
best
you?
dressed articles.
Yeah,
I
look
love
at
those. I have a friend, Mari, you know her,
Yes.
who's super into award shows and will
Okay.
watch them in full.
Yeah.
And I just don't really have the attention span for them.
I feel like I have to sit through them a little bit for work. Some of my clients need to report on them. One of my clients is a professional hair care brand, so then I'm looking at the hair mostly.
Interesting.
Which is a fun lens to kind of observe through, but I wouldn't say that I'm super into it. If
Yeah.
anything, I don't really care about who wins the awards. I just want to see how everyone looks on the red carpet.
Exactly.
I'm just in it for the outfits.
Gorgeous.
And the drama.
Trying to think. I looked at the Golden Globes red carpet.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme going around that's gay people can't just say she looks gorgeous. They have to say she slayed the house down boots, cunt, mother, yes, God. It's so funny.
And they do. They do have to say it.
And Yeah, I prefer that way of speaking, honestly.
No, like it's so much more expression, and that's important.
Yeah. We
'Cause she
need to
doesn't just look
self-express.
good. She is slaying the house.
She's slaying the house. Yeah. I saw one that was like, this should probably be cut out because I'm not going to remember it correctly. She slayed so hard that she got cuntaria. I don't know.
Oh, no, I think I saw that one too.
Yeah.
I did actually see that.
Okay, mark that one for a cut. What a bust. When you try to recount a meme to someone.
Oh my God, it's so hard. Unless you have it directly in front of you,
You're
you
like,
don't stand a chance.
Yeah, you're retelling a TikTok to someone that you saw. It's
That
just
happens to
never
me
the
a
same.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm also very guilty of doing the like, oh, I read an article. No, I was watching a TikTok.
Yeah. Or
Don't
you're like,
lie.
oh, I read an article, and then you recount all the facts, and then you go back and you're like, oh, I think all of the facts that I said were wrong.
Yeah, so true. It's so easy to misremember
I
in our
know.
defense.
In our defense, we are but fallible.
So true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really been paying attention to a ton of the award shows, but I do need to see all the movies.
Yes.
I saw Saltburn and I watched the new Miyazaki,
Oh, I haven't seen that.
which was really good.
Okay.
If you like that stuff. Are you an anime person?
No.
I wouldn't say that I am either, but I like Studio Ghibli. James
Okay.
watches a lot of anime, like shows. I don't really dabble in the shows, but if it's under 2 hours, I'm happy to sit through a movie.
Engage in your partner's passion.
Yeah.
I know some people who think that anime is an ick, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, kind of same.
Yeah.
I don't really get it either. I feel like those are the same people who just in general maybe don't watch like animated things.
True.
But I feel like some people are very anti-cartoon.
Anti-adult cartoon too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch a ton of adult cartoons. Like I never really got into Rick and Morty or any of those. I don't think I have anything against them. It's maybe not my humor.
Yeah.
But I think like actual anime, especially if it's Miyazaki, it's just like stunning.
Like the
He's just,
animation
like,
style.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
But maybe that's a crazy one to start with. There are safer.
Okay, and you'll
ones.
drop a link in the chat
And
after
I would
this.
love to drop a link.
Do you, sorry, can I continue the ick train?
Of course.
Do you have any icks, like things you notice in other people that are an ick to you that you think other people don't share?
That is a great question. I would say like top icks for me, something I've talked about on the podcast before, watching grown men like ride on those motorized scooters.
Oh my God. On their way to work
Mortifying.
with their little backpacks?
They have the backpack on,
Yeah.
especially if they're like in their dress clothes. Something
That's
about
so good.
the way that they have to like
With one foot in front of the
and
other?
yeah.
Yeah.
The posture of it all. That's definitely something.
That's really good.
What about you? I'd have to think through some of my other icks.
I feel like a simple one, if they don't make the bed, it's kind of an ick.
I like that. I actually don't make the bed every day, so not to be the person who's like, I am your ick, but I would love to do it more.
Yeah. I feel like it just really, it proves something about how much shit you have together.
Totally.
I'm trying to think of something a little more obscure though, like the little scooter. I guess if there was a man today at the gym wearing those toe shoes.
Oh, totally.
And he was just lifting with his
That's real.
arms, like bicep lifts. And I thought, why do you need the toe shoes for that?
I actually, so true. You need the toe shoes even less for the story I'm about to tell.
Okay.
Nathan, if you're listening, sorry, no offense. There is this guy from my high school that I hadn't seen in literal years. And I found my dad and I had to run to the Best Buy. I don't even remember what we were buying. Maybe like an iPad for my mom for Christmas or something.
Something we presume technological.
Yes,
Okay.
you do have to make that assumption
Yeah.
at the Best Buy. And it turns out Nathan from my high school was there, and he was wearing the toe shoe. He was
What
working,
year was it?
and he was wearing the toe shoes while he was working, and it was just, I literally was like, what
That's pretty
on
bad.
earth? He was in like his Best Buy polo. He had his little like iPad walking around talking to people, and he actually did help my dad and I find whatever the hell it was we needed to find. So like, thank you, Nathan.
But you were distracted the whole time.
Yes. How can you look away?
It's hard. I had a pair in 7th grade.
Did you
Because they were a
really?
trend in my hometown.
Were they?
Yeah, among middle schoolers. Or maybe it could have even been 5th grade.
Okay.
Here was the list of trends. 4th grade, Crocs. 5th grade, ponchos.
Ponchos were big.
Yep.
I wore
gauchos at the same time as ponchos actually happened.
I was wearing gauchos because I didn't like skirts. So like gauchos, I got a brand new pair of white gauchos for, I think, Easter.
For a dress pant.
As a dress pant.
Yeah.
To go to church. And they were all white. And then I remember going back to school and like my bully pushed me in the mud in my white gauchos.
Oh no.
And I was wearing like day of the week underwear. However, it was not the correct day of the week.
I was just gonna ask that.
And of course, as soon as I got pushed in the mud, you could see through my white pants. Mortifying. I did have to go home.
Sad.
But I did get to take the rest of the day off. So there was that.
Okay. What grade was this?
I think that was also 5th grade.
Okay. The gaucho year.
Yeah,
famously.
it was totally the gaucho year.
Yeah. Were you the bully or were you bullied?
I was bullied. I was actually a pretty quiet kid.
Really?
I think growing up as an only child, you know, you don't have a lot of people to speak to.
Yeah. You just get used to being quiet.
Yeah. I was also always more comfortable with adults. For that reason. But yeah, that was a big trend. What were some others? I feel like
Nintendogs.
Oh my God, yeah. I never had a Nintendo. I wanted one so
wow.
bad. Yeah.
You missed out on Nintendogs.
Was that a DS game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine are probably dead now.
Oh, so sad.
Thinking
Was it like
about
that?
them.
It was like in real time. Like
It
actual time would
was-
pass.
Yes. Although I think after a certain amount of time, they ran away.
Oh my God.
Quote, ran away.
Wait, that's crazy.
I know. I bet if I opened up my DS now, they would all be gone.
That really teaches a kid loss
I
at a
know.
young age.
And they'd be dirty and covered in fleas if you didn't come on for very long.
Oh my
and
God.
You like have to bathe them.
Wow. Responsibility.
I
I
know.
felt similarly did you ever have like a Tamagotchi?
No, but I had a
Okay.
hermit crab.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
That's like a real life Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Do you remember those Tamagotchis?
Yeah, I know what they are. Like a rudimentary pet.
Yeah, they were like supposed to be on your keychain, and then you could like grow them, and they would like evolve essentially. It was kind of a mixture between like a Nintendogs and like a Pokemon or something.
And it was like super pixelated, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. The screen was terrible. I think Gen Z might be bringing them back. I think I might have seen them on TikTok.
Oh my God.
They're always doing that.
Gen Z is either going to save the world or be the end of us.
I know. I can't decide which.
I know. Well, we'll see.
We
We'll
will
see, unless we burn up first.
So true.
Which is a possibility. Do you want
The
kids
odds
to
are
bring into this
high.
world?
I actually really don't.
Okay, cool.
I think kind of because of some of that. I reserve the right to change my mind. But I've never really been drawn to kids. I also I would never babysat. I couldn't tell you last time I hung out with a baby. I was like a pet sitter. That was more my vibe.
Oh, that's a better gig actually.
Yeah.
Do you have friends with kids?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, no. I don't know very many people who have kids. And I was the youngest of my cousins on my dad's side and the oldest. I never really hung around babies.
Yeah.
Or young children. I babysat a few times for kids in my neighborhood, but probably wasn't that good at it, so didn't get asked back all that often.
And that's valid. All experiences
Yeah.
of babysitting are valid.
Do you want children?
At this point, I'm leaning no.
Yeah.
And honestly, a huge part of it is the climate crisis.
Same. It just feels impossible.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I make it out of here.
I know. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that I could bring this to a pretty dark place, but I'm gonna veer back to the guy on the scooter and ask about your opinion of the guys who have the wheel that's like one big wheel and they're almost always covered in knee pads and armor, and then they have a helmet usually with a colorful
Yes.
LED mohawk.
I will say they look like villains in a very kind of cool movie Hollywood type of way.
Agree.
So in
Tron.
that sense, I support them. Would I actually want to hang out with the person underneath all of that?
Yeah.
Probably not.
And you see a group of them at a brewery and all of their wheels
Right.
are on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there are so many devices now. There's hoverboards, then there's those things. Then there's the ones that are one wheel, because you're talking about the ones where you're technically sideways, right?
I have no idea how they work, but they're you lean forward on the
Okay.
big wheel and they go 40 miles per hour or something.
Yeah.
They're super fast.
Well, and then there's one where you're riding on it sideways. That's also a little bit different.
With a big
Similar
wheel in the
vibe.
middle. Yep, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Also really strange.
Lots of apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since we invented the wheel, we're always trying to find new ways to use it.
So true.
That, and you can quote that. You can use that.
And that's a really good point. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. How you ride on wheels.
I do.
You drive a
I
car.
like to bike.
You bike.
I have rollerblades and I have a longboard and I have a nickel board.
What is that?
It's like a tiny skateboard.
Okay. I always thought those were called penny boards or something
Okay,
else.
it is a penny board.
Okay, yours
but it's
is
called
a
a
little
nickel board
bigger.
because it's a little bigger than a penny board.
So
Yeah, you
funny.
guessed it.
Okay, totally.
And I would like to say that I use all of those other things, but I don't really because I'm really scared of using them in the streets and I don't want to carry it to the lakefront.
And that makes so much sense to me.
So it's just biking and busing and training and driving for me and walking and running.
Yeah. I like walking and running. I feel like
Yeah.
those are pretty stable activities.
Very stable.
I'm confident in both of those. I don't drive in the city. I'm too scared.
So James does most of the driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I have driven from Madison to Chicago a few times, but something about like the neighborhoods around here and how people drive are more scary to me than downtown.
Yeah. I think it's more lawless out here.
Yeah. Nobody's paying attention.
It's true.
Yeah.
Everyone's on their phones.
And everybody over here, like the amount of accidents that have happened literally right outside of my
You
home.
live on a big street too.
Yeah. People are constantly rear-ending.
Really?
others. Yeah.
Do you ever hear people like in shouting matches outside your window?
Oh, for sure.
Scary.
Our walls are very thin too, so for the most part, I can hear like full conversations that are happening on the street.
Really? Even from up here?
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre. Yeah,
I'm gonna go outside and gossip.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can listen
I'm gonna
in.
hear
Do you have any
every
good gossip?
There was this one night. That is a great question because there was this one night where I was having a friend over, which I think it terrified her, and she probably will never want to stay here again, because she was sleeping right where we are seated. And so she had like the best listening spot. Windows were open too because I think it was summertime, so like loud and clear.
Are people walking around here a lot in the summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and this happened to be at 4 a.m. I would say at the most part, 4 a.m. is a relatively quiet hour.
As it should be.
But there was this man, and we still don't know for sure. I do think it may have been a neighbor.
Okay.
And he was like out in the middle of the street, like yelling for help. So she like got up. She texted me, but I was out like light. So I didn't see. And then at some point I feel like I kind of like woke up and remember hearing him doing this too. And she was like watching him out the window and he was like stopping these cars. And he seemed very frantic, like saying, something so crazy about like he needed to get to his daughter or something, blah, blah, blah.
That's scary.
It was very scary. But then I think he was like asking for money. And people were like, do you want a ride? But he was like, I know I need hundreds of dollars. And people were like, so something about that is reading as maybe a fib.
Something's not computing. Yeah.
It was like actually kind of crazy though. And then at some point I think he just went inside, but
wow. Did you recognize him as someone from the neighborhood?
So
Rando?
I didn't see him myself, but when she was kind of describing him to me, I was like, that sounds like maybe a familiar figure.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really know what happened with him. Hopefully he's all right. I kind of feel like maybe he was just on drugs.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You never know.
So, and you know what they say, to assume is to make an ass out of you and me.
That's so true. And you can quote that. Yeah,
that's
damn.
like some hot goss.
That's some good neighborhood goss. I do have neighborhood goss. Okay, so when I moved into my apartment this summer.
This current apartment
this summer. It's the second floor of a 3-floor walk up. And I was really excited because for the first time ever, I had a back deck and I have this little like clear window bird feeder that suction cups onto the window. So I put that on the back deck, filled it with bird feed.
So then you can just see the birds when they come in?
Yes. So I was so pumped to like get to see birds. Unfortunately, only pigeons really showed up and they like gobbled it down so fast.
That sounds like city living.
Yeah. I was like hoping for something to entertain my cat, but the pigeons were just like thumping against the window and kind of scaring everyone instead.
Totally. Yourself included.
So this will come back. But I've been living in the building for like 2 weeks. I'm in the stairwell and then this guy also comes in and he's like, hey, are you new? And I was like, yeah, I'm Zoe. And he was like, I'm Toby. I live above you. We chat a little bit. And then he was like, well, we have a neighbor group chat if you want to be in it and give me your number. I recently changed my phone, but I'll ask Colin to add you to the group chat. I was like, great.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And then like a day passed and then I get a group chat from Toby and an unknown number saying, hey guys, it's Toby. Zoe meet Colin. Colin meet Zoe. Colin, can you please add Zoe to the group chat? I asked you yesterday, but you didn't respond to me.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, so I'm
like,
being brought in as a witness.
Girl in the group chat.
Yeah. Hours pass. I thought, okay, I'll just bite the bullet. So I introduced myself. I was like, hey, nice to meet you guys. The next day, Colin chimes in and is like, hey, Toby, it was an accident. Sure, I'll get on it.
Totally.
And then it still doesn't happen. And then Toby sends another follow-up text being like, hey, Colin, I don't know if you mean to, you know what? Can I just read these?
I would love
because
if you pull up the
it'll be way
receipts.
better if I read them instead.
And at any point now, are you in the group chat?
Yes, I am currently.
Okay.
But let me oh, this is the 6-person group chat. Oh my God.
So is it just people in your immediate unit? Like your...
Yes.
Okay. Love.
Okay.
We have one of those.
James, this huge pause can be edited out. I'm going to put my mic down and find the chat because nothing else is coming. Let's see what Toby comes up with.
You don't meet a lot of Tobys. You're like, fuck this group chat.
I hope not. Okay. Sorry, guys. It needs to be read in its full.
There honestly is nothing like a neighborhood group chat either. The craziest shit goes down.
Wow. Maybe they like self-deleted after a certain amount of time because maybe that's the same event. Okay, so I'll rewind a little bit. Colin eventually adds me to the group chat.
Totally.
And now he has my number. So in the group chat with me and Toby, he says, hey, Zoe, nice to meet you. I just added you to the group chat. I couldn't help but notice that you have a bird feeder out back and it's bringing lots of pigeons and they're pooping all over the deck and it's very inconsiderate of you. And he like rails into me about how it's extremely rude and inappropriate to have a bird feeder.
Oh, shit.
And I was just like, oops, sorry, didn't know. I'll take it down. And I like waited 2 days before taking it down and he texted me individually being like,
no way.
hey, I can't believe you haven't taken the bird feeder down yet. It's extremely rude to the maintenance people who have to clean up all the shit. Let's just try to keep it sanitary for people and their pets.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. So I took it down, which was devastating.
Damn.
Because I like birds.
That's really sad. Also kind of crazy that he went for the group chat roast first versus messaging you separately.
Yes. So then
bold.
I went on a vacation, and because I wanted my cat to be entertained while I was on vacation, so sue me, I put a little more bird seed out on the deck.
You're a good mom.
Yeah. And while I was there, he sent me a really, I would just say aggressive text that was like, hey, Zoe, did you not understand when I explained to you the problem of the bird seed that you were making the lives of everyone in this building miserable?
So basically, like, are you an idiot?
Yeah, he was just talking down to me. I felt extremely offended. I was
that
like, this guy's a jerk.
fucking blows. Yeah.
Yeah. I sent like a nice text back being like, sorry, my mistake. I won't do it again. And then I blocked him.
Naturally.
And then I got an email from my property manager that someone had complained.
No way.
And the landlord was like, you have to take this down.
You're taking it to the higher ups.
Exactly. So he snitched. My friend who's really good at like internet sleuthing with only the first name Colin and his phone number found him online, found his LinkedIn.
I have that unique skill as well.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like reverse phone number tracking or something. Found out, unfortunately, he shares a lot of the same passions as me.
No.
He like loves social justice, loves bike commuting.
You're like, shoot, if you weren't an asshole, maybe we'd be friends.
Yeah.
But turns out you suck.
He really sucks. He's sent a few more like generally rude texts in the group chat whenever people are like complaining about the heat. He's basically like,
totally.
If you weren't such a pussy, you could handle it. So
sounds like a bundle of fun.
He's just a total wet blanket.
It's one of those things too where having relationships with your neighbors is so interesting because I want to like the people I live around in order to not piss anybody off, but that is usually not the case.
Yeah. Oh, and we haven't touched on Toby yet, who I originally thought was on my side. He is on my side. He is on my side. I say with the question mark.
Totally.
But he sent a group chat to me and Colin again after I'd blocked Colin, and he was like, hey guys, do you want to come over for coffee tomorrow? I have milk in the house.
Oh.
And I was like, why do you milk? What's with the milk? But I was curious and I wanted more information.
Totally.
So I said, yeah, I'll come up for coffee.
Curiosity does kill the cat.
Yeah. So I lied and said I had a meeting in 20 minutes and I went upstairs and had coffee with Toby.
Naturally.
And he spent the whole time, first of all, he did offer me milk. I said, no, thanks. I'll just have
like
coffee.
Plain milk.
He was like, do you want milk or milk in your
coffee?
coffee? It was like either or.
Oh, like you could just have a glass.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then he talked at me about his sketch comedy troupe for a while.
Okay.
I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast.
Men love to do that.
Yeah. And then I just dug in and I was like, so what's the deal with Colin? Do you hate him? And he said, man, Colin's a little bitch. And I was like, yes.
Thank you.
And then he said, but yeah, we're buddies. And I was like, what do you mean? So I still need to kind of dig into that relationship. But I think in general, Colin is the Karen of the building.
Complicated. Yeah. There's always one.
Yeah.
There's always one. I was
Toby,
recently invited to join the I actually have no idea how this happened either, because I don't know if you are on some like registered list or how this shit works, but I got an email asking me if I wanted to join the Logan Square next door.
Drama.
Which I do think I'm going to do it because I've heard juicy stuff comes out of the next door app.
Yes, either juicy or infuriating, I bet.
Yeah, I'm ready for both.
Okay.
And then if it's toxic, I will remove myself.
You can choose to leave.
I do have kind of an unhealthy relationship with the Citizen app, which I'm trying to work through.
I'm not familiar with that.
It pretty much tells you all the bad things going on in your neighborhood. I actually would recommend not to get it.
Is it a bunch of people warning about stuff that aren't actually threats?
Well, that definitely does happen. But it'll also be like, you know, police incident, or like there was a car crash here. Like sometimes it's stuff like that. Sometimes it's like possible shooting, you know, because we do live in the big city of Chicago. And I feel like sometimes even the shot detectors, like we live in a majority Puerto Rican neighborhood, and Puerto Ricans love fireworks. So I'm feeling like these shot detectors could be picking up things.
Shot spotter?
Oh, is that something?
I was going to say, speaking of ShotSpotter, now's the time to get political, guys, because ShotSpotter has a contract with the city, and it often impacts people of color because the city installed ShotSpotter, which detects loud noises and then dispatches police to a place that there may have been a gunshot.
Yeah.
And often they install them in places where they believe would be potentially places for more violence, which isn't the case.
Well, and I feel like that's probably what's happening around here more often than actual shootings are taking place. So nevertheless, it'll be like armed robbery down the street. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah. But then, so people do fireworks and then the police show up. And then if something really bad happens, someone's like running away because they were doing fireworks, not shooting someone, and the police arrest them. But on February 16, Chicago's contract with ShotSpotter expires.
As in this February?
Next month. Brandon Johnson promised to cancel it during his campaign. He said that he's not going to renew it. So we have to hold him accountable. Call your alderman, call Brandon Johnson's office and tell him to not renew ShotSpotter.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Disproportionately gets people of color arrested. That's not fair.
Makes total sense, honestly. Yeah. And I think the Citizen app, ignorance is bliss. I don't necessarily need to know. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. So I would prefer to live with that as my,
My mom says that I'm too optimistic about going about my life in a large city. I think any large city. She's like, you walk at night alone all the time. You just kind of like are doing your own thing, not really paying attention to your surroundings. Well, she has a point.
Same.
But I don't have reason to be super scared yet.
I know. So don't download the Citizen app.
I won't download the Citizen app.
Download it.
Yes.
But I feel like every once in a while they'll sprinkle in like good news, and they'll be like, Rusty the dog like was found. And I'm like, thank God. I did not know Rusty was missing, but I am so glad to know that he made his way back home.
And that's what we're here for, is the positive news. Ugh, the liberal media news cycle.
Right, I know.
On what is it, Citizen?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'll be taking
over our lives.
Yeah.
People can also like respond on the Citizen app to incidents that are happening, and the people who actively participate in those chats are some of the world's worst humans.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. My sibling lives in a small, like mostly suburban town in Michigan and is trying to make new friends as a 20-something young person.
An impossible task.
Exactly. And so they're joining all these online groups to be like, okay, maybe someone has an event where I can meet a friend at.
Yeah.
And they're like, unfortunately, all the people who are going to online events are weirdos.
I know. That does suck.
Yeah. So they haven't had much luck.
It seems like there should be more things like that. Like I know there's like Bumble BFF or whatever, but even that one gets a rap for like sometimes it's weird.
Yeah. Dating apps in general.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's just hard to like make an online friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in a relationship for 10 years, so...
We're going on 11, which is insane.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have any experience with the apps then?
I literally don't. I mean, beyond like scrolling on Friends every time I want to see what the hell's out there, be like, oh my God, how do you do this nowadays? I really don't. the thing about the apps that is so mind-blowing to me is that now they're getting so smart that they hide the people you would actually like behind paywalls, which I'm like, that?
Wait, really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't remember which one it is. It might be Hinge or something, but like there's like your super likes, or there's some sort of, or like there's roses or something.
Yep.
And in order to like, it like learns your preferences, and then for free, it'll show you people that are like mid. And then if you want like your super liked people, like it's literally behind a fucking paywall.
That's so disappointing.
It's like honestly a little bit gross. Wow. But I guess you also, if I think about it, you used to have to like pay, I think, to sign up for like an eHarmony or whatever. So I feel like they're trying to get back to that concept. Yeah. But I'm also like, I don't know. You're keeping people from the potential love of their life. That just seems messed up.
And the internet is kind of based on this whole idea that everything is free.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm totally wrong about that. It's just kind of started where everything was free. So I kind of want that to continue.
Well, and it's hard because obviously tons of people work at Hinge and they have to get paid somehow. But at the same time, I'm like, there's got to be maybe ads. I don't know. There's got to be something.
I wouldn't mind an ad popping up every once in a while.
And then if you don't want ads, then you pay. Maybe instead of like not seeing
like
your
Hulu
most compatible
Premium
match.
Yeah. That's so disappointing. Maybe that's why I was briefly on Hinge this summer.
Yeah.
That's fine. I went on my first and only ever app date, and it was totally fine.
That's good.
And not remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, that will happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and probably why.
At least
like
it wasn't
they were
bad.
giving you like a mid. You got a mid one.
Damn.
Crazy.
I was like, you're getting off work. You can choose a place close to your place if you want. She was like, oh, I've heard of this awesome multi-use bar / rec space / thrift store. I was like, sick.
Okay, that's like 10 cool things.
Yeah. Show up on a Wednesday night at 7. The bar is fluorescently lit and empty.
Okay.
And the bartender was really friendly, but like was clearly listening to our entire conversation. I was just like, I was too aware of myself.
Well, and there's something about when like, the lights are on.
Mm-hmm. On.
Bad vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially for a date, but also in general, like right now.
But this is for filming purposes.
Yeah, so that you guys can see us.
Yeah.
Which you really want to.
Speaking of lighting, you're familiar with Madison and you're familiar with my friend Sam. But I was in Madison with Sam, and we went to a person's house to watch football, and Sam had never met this person and had never been in their house before, but he stepped in, and he's a particular guy. He knows what he likes. I say with impeccable taste, but he walked in and he immediately was like, the lighting here is so off. He started flipping light switches around. He found a lamp and brought it into the living room and was kind of moving the lamps around. And then he was like, the light bulb's still too cool. So he went through the house and found a warmer tone bulb in the bathroom, swapped the light bulbs, brought the warm tone bulb to the lamp in the living room, moved it to the correct location. And the people who lived there were just kind of sitting watching football, and they didn't really care.
I do kind of love that they just didn't give a shit about that.
They didn't.
That is so crazy to me. And that's one of those things where like the audacity it takes to really get in somebody's house and move their furniture around is like so
it was
crazy.
So funny. He's like, is it cool if I use the bathroom bulb? And they were like, huh? Oh, sure.
Totally. You also have to assume it's going to stay that way.
For sure.
There's no way they're like, all right, time to unscrew and put back the light bulb.
Yeah,
like,
it was
no.
giving like dorm vibes, but owned by 28-year-olds.
And sometimes that will happen.
Yeah.
It's always kind of crazy when that's the case, because for me, like my abode is something that I feel like I pour so much time into, but some people really do not give a fuck.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's where you spend all your time.
Like I'm in here constantly.
Yeah.
The amount of time that I actually spend in here is sometimes a little bit sick.
Yeah, right? It's like it has to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah. But, you know.
What's your favorite thing in your home?
That is such a good question. I would say the apartment itself, these beams. It's like got that gorgeous vintage vibe. I knew that I wanted to live in a walk-up, but I didn't want one that was like fully remodeled because I like the old vintagey elements. But I'm also very lucky. My mom's an artist, so I have a lot of her pieces scattered throughout the home.
Oh my gosh.
Which I feel like she's just always had really good taste and like an eye for design. So I credit her for a lot of my ability to furnish a house.
So your mom's an artist and your dad's a woodworker.
Yes.
Both by hobby choices?
Yeah, my dad tried kind of doing the woodworking thing as a business. He started a construction company with a friend.
Okay.
They did that for a few years. And then his friend stole a bunch of money from him and moved away.
Gossip.
Yeah.
And moved away. With the money.
They literally don't speak anymore.
Oh my God.
Never paid him back.
Was it
Obviously,
cash?
he like basically ran up their business credit card a fuck ton and then left.
Oh my gosh.
Ditched
That's
the
so
scene.
skeezy.
Yeah. So then my dad had really bad credit for a while and had to fix that because it was under his name.
Oh my God. I'm so scared of having my credit ruined.
I know, it's like terrifying. That's like, and that will literally screw you.
Yeah.
And then my mom went to school for art, but then was kind of like, I feel like in art school, they don't really teach you how to get a job afterwards or like how to actually make money doing this.
Yeah.
So for a little while, she was like, okay, I either can go into galleries or I can like teach. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't really want to be an art teacher. She ended up getting a job in book buying, completely separate. And then
book binding?
Buying.
So
she was
book
like a buyer for a
buying.
bookstore.
Okay, cool.
But then when we moved to Madison for my dad's job, she was like, well, I'll just quit and raise the kid, me.
The kid.
And so she was like doing some art on the side from home. And then probably like 10 years ago now, maybe even a little bit more, I feel like I was in high school. She like kind of was taking it pretty seriously again and started doing art shows and like art fairs.
That's so fun.
And she's been doing that full time ever since.
Wow.
Which is really cool. And my dad recently retired. So now she's very happy to be like, I'm the breadwinner of the family.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's very cool.
I love that.
Yeah. So I feel like that also helps me like, I'm certainly not an artist, but it helps me like find creative outlets and stuff. My parents are very pro.
Yes.
All of that.
You definitely have good taste.
Thank you.
And I say that objectively.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Okay, well, should we dive into Good, Bad, Ugly?
Let's.
I'm so excited to have you do this because I did it on my first episode.
Okay.
Because James was like, I think you have to kick it off, which is so fair. I think he was also just like nervous to choose a good, bad, ugly. But now I get to have you do it. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to have you start with your good.
My good is honestly watching your cat jog away in her violently back and forth swinging primordial pouch.
Totally. It is good.
Yeah.
There's actually nothing quite like it. You should give it a feel later.
I would love to give it a squish.
It's awesome. It's really funny too because girl kitties get it way worse. I think something about the way, I can never remember which one gets neutered and which gets spayed. But whatever happens to the female cat,
spayed,
leads to kind of more of the
more flappiness.
Fupa. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. And like I've had other girl kitties and they've had definitely like decently big fupas, but I don't know what happened to Beatrix.
It's crazy, guys.
Yeah.
It's really hanging. And I guess also cat related good is that mine is not social, but lately she's been so snuggly in the mornings.
Oh, that is good.
So I wake up and she just hops up and we get to spend some time. I don't get out of bed as quickly now, but I'm willing to take the L.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is this a new cat for you? No,
I've had her. I was a COVID cat.
Okay, totally.
Yeah. You've met my dog.
That's classic.
But
Yeah,
I also have a cat.
And the dog is relatively new.
Yes, like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they like each other?
They honestly get along pretty well.
That's really
they keep
nice.
each other company.
We've introduced my cats to dogs a few times and they're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. They're both adopted adults. So they must just have experience because it goes pretty seamlessly.
That's nice. So were you like more of a cat person growing up?
Yeah.
Same.
And honestly, I still am.
Totally.
Sometimes I look at my dog and I'm like, you're so smelly and dumb.
Dogs are definitely a little more stupid.
Yeah.
Some dogs can be smart, but like I didn't realize how smart cats are.
In fact,
they're too smart for their own good. Like
they just
sometimes
choose
I'm like,
not to show us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would love it if they were a little more stupid because they can get into everything they're not supposed to.
True.
They're always causing problems.
You know what else is smart? Rats.
Are rats smart?
Your podcast head. Did you listen to the This American Life episode about the guy who had like 27 rats and he couldn't get a date because of it?
I mean, honestly, it does sound hard.
Yeah, he would like have to hide his rats from people.
That is crazy. I actually would rather know about the rats up front versus being like,
by the way,
I have a secret stash of 27 rats.
Yeah, the whole story was him like going through the emotional journey of getting rid of them because he needed to find a life partner.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
I see. And at some point you have to assume like there is someone out there who will love you and your 27 rats.
That's so true.
But
and
maybe
that was
hard
his,
to find.
That was his bad.
27 is a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe like one rat. 2.
Apparently it gets addicting when you get one, you gotta catch them all.
That he was catching the rats?
No, I was quoting Pokemon.
Okay.
Which is not something I watch, but is the phrase. Apparently once you get one rat, you worry about it being lonely and then you just keep accumulating them.
And then suddenly you're up to 27.
Yeah. And I'm speaking generally as fact.
Totally. Well, not necessarily rats, but rodent related. The only TikTok live streams that ever come up for me are those fucking hamsters. Have you seen them?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is not a universal shared experience. Maybe it is because I do pause and watch it sometimes, but it's literally just a live stream of at any time. I feel like there must be a few going around, but it's like groups of hamsters, maybe even gerbils, very small. There are like 6 little spinning wheels in there.
And they're just going at
and
it.
They're just like running around. Some of them will get on the wheels, and it's just like a kind of like live stream
of their lives.
These fucking hamsters, and they're going crazy. And it is to music, but recently people have been complaining like you're traumatizing these hamsters
with the music.
So the guy put up a little sticky, and he was like, "The hamsters cannot hear the music." Like those classic like the dog is listening to their favorite music and they're fine in the car.
Yeah.
He like put up a little sticky of like they cannot hear the music.
That's so
They're just
funny.
because it's like these rats running to like really crazy EDM music. Like,
and so you're watching the hamster equivalent of Big Brother.
essentially, yes.
Or Love Island, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, so true.
We don't know what they're
I haven't
talking
seen
about.
any of the rats hooking up.
Right.
Or excuse me, gerbils. But yeah, it is kind of insane. And I will pause every time that I see it. I'm like, oh, I wonder who's going to do
There they are.
Yeah. But it's crazy.
How's my favorite little guy doing?
Yeah. And they'll like go on those things and they're running so fast. And then one of them will just stop. And sometimes a couple of them are on.
Do they pile up?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious. So it is entertaining, but definitely a strange like niche of TikTok.
Don't worry, I'll seek it out after this.
It's fantastic.
I'm on it.
Okay, well now I want to know your bad.
My bad. Honestly, it's got to be that it's -7 degrees today.
It is really bad.
It's the bad thing that's most presently affecting my life.
Yeah.
As far as I just can't really do the activities that I like, aka bike commuting, walking my dog, going for walks with friends.
Do you have to put your dog in like little booties and
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah. There's something I sort of love about that.
It's pretty adorable.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's really adorable. I'm really shitting on my dog right now, but he's great.
He's a sweetie.
Yes.
Massive head.
Yeah.
Huge head. One of the biggest.
Huge
I've ever
head.
seen.
Cold, bad. At pottery earlier today, I pretty massively fucked up just really over pronunciating, massively fucked up a pot because it flew off the wheel and got a big dent in it. So I felt kind of bad about that. And then the instructor came over and was like, how's it going? And I was like, I'm doing a shit job. And he was like, that's part of the learning process. And I was like, you're right. I'll reframe.
See, I will say that is the reason that I loved pottery class in high school. My pottery teacher was very much of that exact same mindset. Mr. Herman, shout out if by some miracle you're listening to this. He was just like, he was so sweet and he had this very calm demeanor about him. And he would always like demo whatever we were going to do that day first. Mm-hmm. So he'd be like, you know, throwing something on the wheel, or sometimes we were doing more sculpture stuff. And he would like do something to his design. And he'd be like, you know what? I don't really like that, but you know, that's just part of the process. We're going to leave it in. We're going to work with it. And I was like, that is so, I love that philosophy.
Yes.
Imperfections make art.
Yes.
If you will.
And if you don't like it, you can scrap it and start over.
So true. It is such a malleable,
literally
thing.
malleable. Yeah. And it's easy for me to be like, oh, I put time into creating this thing. So now it has to become a product and be like, I have to be productive with my time.
100%.
My time can just be used to be in a flow state. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, and it is so true what you said about it being a flow state. Like when you are just spinning on that thing, you can just really zen out.
Ooh, mwah.
Did you like seek out the pottery class first, or did you want to use it for the studio time?
I saw it out first.
Okay.
I think someone I knew had taken it and was like, you'd probably like this. Because
Nice.
I like to try out new hobbies.
And had you done pottery before?
Never.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is it like beginner class?
I've taken the beginner class twice and then a 2, and I'm in 2B.
Nice.
Everyone watch out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She's really climbing the ranks.
Yeah. And my stuff still isn't very good. It's hard.
It happens.
So hard to master.
I know. It's been a really long time since I've done it, but I feel like that would be plus that's like not really an art form you can do that at home particularly easily. Mm-hmm.
I just realized what my ugly's going to be. Thinking
I can't
ahead,
wait.
sorry.
No, please.
It was going to be the guy in the gym with the toe shoes. But
So fair.
thinking about ugly things made me think of, and I'm going to anonymize this because it could really offend the person. My former partner's sister-in-law has one of those Chinese crested spaniels. You know, those dogs that are like basically
I
bald.
absolutely do, yeah.
And it's way older than nature intended that it should ever be.
Okay.
And she's really keeping it alive. And all its teeth are gone. So there's nothing to hold its tongue in.
Oh.
And it's blind. So its eyes are kind of glazed over and foggy. And it's, as previously established, bald.
Yeah.
And the tongue is lolling. And because the tongue spends all of its time out in the open air, it's dried up and shriveled and it looks like a piece of jerky. So when you said ugly, I thought of that dog.
I mean, the picture you just painted for me is completely heinous, so I agree.
And she's covered in skin tags. So if you pet her, it's like bumpy.
See, it's one of those things where if at a certain point in my life I was completely hairless, covered in skin tags, my tongue was sticking out of my mouth and I couldn't see, the quality of life
Put
is
me
no
down.
longer- yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Physician
Take me out.
assisted. Yeah, just let it happen.
So, wow, that's crazy. How old is the dog?
Oof. I want to say, because the person got it in college,
Okay.
15 to 20 years old.
Okay, yeah, that's messed
It's
up.
really old.
The thing is, I just feel like that would be the last purchase I would make in college is one of those dogs.
I know.
It's one thing to buy a dog, but one of those?
I know.
It's crazy.
I think the appeal at the time maybe was like, oh, no one else will love it.
It's crazy looking.
Yeah.
Hairless animals in general, I guess I understand the appeal, but I don't identify with the appeal. I saw
agree.
this like hairless cat one time in a Panera parking lot.
In a car
It
or
was
on
in
a
a car.
harness?
It was in a car, and I'm assuming that person was maybe also at the Panera. And it had painted red fingernails, well, claws.
Wow. So this person is really grooming? No,
Yes.
it doesn't have anything to groom.
Well, right. So then I guess maybe, you know, why
They're
not throw a
dressing
little
up their
nail
cat.
polish on
Why
there?
not?
Yeah, it was like really scary. It was so terrifying.
And it just kind of plopped in the seat.
It was actually like up on the back dashboard or whatever, so it was
Like
like,
a big-
in clear view,
a big
kind of through the
glob.
sun. Yeah, ew. I've never really interacted with one of those animals, but I can't imagine. I mean, even like the times Misha has had to get surgery,
Mhm.
like their little skin is so crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, I've never pet one in real life.
I wonder what Beatrix's primordial pouch would look like if she didn't have hair.
Whoa, I have an Instagram page to send you.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see.
It's a hairless cat's Instagram page. And it's
Okay.
got a pretty big tummy.
totally.
It's pretty funny.
Oh my god, crazy.
I think it belongs to the musician Fletcher.
Oh, okay.
If you're familiar with her.
yes, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's her cat.
She kind of seems like the type who would love to have a hairless cat.
Yes.
Makes total sense.
Yes.
Definitely
Love to
on
be
brand.
alternative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, yeah, having a hairless animal really does say something about you.
It does. It says that you're begging
Yeah.
for attention.
Especially if you bring it to Panera. It's like the
Exactly.
cat could have stayed home.
Yeah. What's the deal?
You have to assume that that's going to be a short run.
Or they're on a road trip.
Oh, that could be the case. In which case,
Or maybe they were coming back from the nail salon.
there actually is a nail salon right next to the Panera I'm talking about. So I wonder if they were like, I have to get my nails done to match my cat.
Yeah.
Which could be the only logical.
It's the only thing that they could have possibly been doing.
Oh my god, so funny. Well, thank you for coming on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This has been so fun.
Yeah.
That was a great Good, Bad, Ugly. So I'm excited to test this out on more folks.
Okay, I can't wait to hear more. I'm excited to hear because something I was deciding bad wise is, do I go really deep with my personal battles?
Totally.
Or do I say it's cold?
And I think you can never go wrong either way.
So true.
That's kind of why I like how it is so open for interpretation. You could really take any direction. If you have something personal you need to get off of your chest, like,
This is
let's
true.
do it.
Yes.
If you would rather not be perceived, we have options.
Yeah.
You know?
Except I am kind of being forced to be perceived by both audio and visual medium right now.
So true. Media.
But I love it. Media. We love media. And that's the title.
Media.
We love media.
We love media. And people will be confused, and that's how we like to keep them.
Yes, so true.
It's important to keep you guys on your toes. Well, before we head out, I would love for you to give us a guiding thought. I know you said you had one.
A guiding thought.
You've been
Yes.
working on
Okay.
your intentions.
My word of the year for 2024 is rooted. And that is because last year felt very unmoored, not grounded, confusing, ton of change going on. And so this year I'm going to focus on rooted, which to me means kind of like digging my feet and self into things that I already know make me feel safe and good.
I love
grounded. So like the community that I have and I love, people that I know make me feel good.
Yeah.
Hobbies and activities that I love. Just not really trying to seek out chaos.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting. What were all the changes that were happening to you last year that made you
Oh my
feel like
gosh.
you needed roots?
Yeah. Okay. Got a dog, went through a big breakup, had
Totally.
to move, met a new friend group.
Yeah.
Got on a new improv show.
Those are lots
things
of
like
things.
that. Yeah. Oh, new job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much every angle.
I know.
Yeah.
Really knocked it out of the park. So this year is for settling, but not settling for less, not in the
Yeah.
bad sense.
No, settling in.
In.
Settling
yes.
in.
Snuggling maybe.
Snuggling in.
I'm
You're
snuggling
on
in. Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Do you have a guiding thought?
My guiding thought for this year was you are becoming your best self.
Ooh.
Because I feel like I'm taking my hobbies a little bit more seriously now, which I'm very excited about, this podcast included.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, I feel like I'm surrounding myself. I'm being more intentional with the people I hang out with and who I spend my time with, how I feel around them.
Yeah.
And of course, if they're fun, because you have to take that into consideration as well. And just like trying to make sure that like all of my decisions are actually in my best interest, because
that's hard.
It is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, it's not to say it's going to be a perfect journey, but we're on our way,
That's true.
which I think is amazing.
It's hard work. Keep it up.
Thanks. You too. We're growing roots. Sing.
ET style. We just touched fingers.
Yeah. For those who are not watching at home, for those who are listening. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was
Thank
literally so fun.
you.
You're very good at this. So I think you're going to have to come back on soon.
Okay, I can't wait. I'll be back.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll be back again next week. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you so much. I literally always forget to do that.
It's up to the guest.
Yeah, it really is. Well, thanks, guys. Bye.